Cool. You ready? All
Ready.
right. Do you want to just do like your elevator pitch? Like introduce yourself,
Yes.
who you are, what you do, all that. So
Yeah.
go for it.
I am Stephanie Aiken. Where do I look?
You just talk to me.
Okay. I'm Stephanie Aiken. I own Barre3 Highlands Ranch, which is South Denver suburb. And at Barre3, it is a full body workout, efficient and effective, and it combines strength, cardio, and mindfulness. My favorite part about Barre3 is that in a class, we really meet you where you are. So 25-year-olds to 75-year-olds and everything in between are in the same class and getting a great workout. Yeah.
And so you guys help them scale it up or down,
Yes.
use weight, use body weight, use
Yeah.
heavier weight, depending on just where they're at.
Yeah, so it's a lot of body weight. It's a lot of functional strength too. So we do use some resistance,
Okay.
including resistance bands, light-ish weights,
Okay.
and we move pretty slowly and mindfully just to really make sure form is there.
Okay.
But then every instructor offers modifications throughout the class. So if someone's working on an injury or if someone's a turbo athlete, you can really kind of flow through the class and take those layers as you need them.
Cool. You have classes with people who are like really athletic and then the grandma.
Yeah,
And you're able to
literally, yeah.
balance those two out.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's
That's hard.
very cool. It's really special, and I think that's one thing that sets Barre3 apart is it's not one size fits all.
Yeah.
We really truly do see people of all fitness levels in the same class.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And are you guys doing, like, how many different types of classes do you offer? And do they focus on different things?
Right now, it's just the one. It's Signature.
Okay.
Barre3 Signature, it's 45 minutes or 60 minutes.
Okay.
And we start at 5:30 a.m. We go through 6 p.m. So it's 7 days a week.
Okay.
But coming soon
Yes.
is a Barre3 strength class.
Okay.
And it does focus on heavier weights.
Cool.
And lower reps as well as core.
Okay.
And then down the line is also a Barre3 cardio class. So really
Okay.
diving into each piece of the signature class a little deeper.
Perfect. That's a great elevator pitch. We'll come back to your business because I have a lot of
Okay.
questions about it too. But I want to talk about you a little bit more.
Okay.
So you grew up in Atlanta, right? And you were homeschooled.
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel like that gave you any advantages? Because you have two older brothers and then a younger sister.
Yes.
So there's one of four. Were y'all all homeschooled?
At different points in time,
Okay.
yes. And
Okay.
then
Are y'all close in ages?
3 years each.
Okay, 3-year gap.
Yeah, really good planning.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's like 3-3-3. So
Yeah.
so we were all homeschooled at different points, some for longer than others.
Is that just something your mom like really wanted to do?
Yes.
Okay, it was important to her. Cool.
It was really
I love that.
important. Yeah. And I think one advantage it gave me was obviously a solid family unit because we were together a lot. And then also a really strong sense of who I was and my values and our family values.
Yeah.
And then when I went into school, second semester of 8th grade, public school with the other kids, I was like always kind of nervous about it. Like I didn't know, and so I did have a really good sense of who I was.
Cool.
But then when I went to school, it was really sink or swim. And I think that's where I became much more social.
Okay.
And had to figure it out.
How was that transition for you going into, did you go to public school?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a hard transition?
It was. I was lucky people were really welcoming, actually, which is not something you might expect in 8th grade.
Yeah. Not the 8th grade girls I remember.
Yeah. So I got lucky there. And before I went on like a shopping spree to Abercrombie and Fitch. I was like, I have to.
Of course.
And so I was ready. I looked the part. I just didn't like feel the part necessarily.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a fake it till you make it moment.
That's okay. That's
fit
me
in
right now
in
this
8th grade.
moment. Yeah. That's all of us all the time.
I know. Yeah.
So, that's cool. Awesome. So then you got right into sports, it sounds like.
Yeah, so I did play sports even.
That's a great way to like meet people and just like
Yes.
immediately have a team and like, oh, I can sit with this group of people at lunch because that's my basketball team. Or that's my sports team.
Yeah. I played sports all the way growing up. So starting in all the sports, but
Yeah.
I played basketball mostly and swimming mostly.
Okay.
And I had those teams we traveled a lot while being homeschooled.
Okay.
And so I had that.
Were any of those
socialist.
kids that you were like playing with, were they in your school? Oh, okay. So you didn't know it.
Yeah.
You weren't really going to this school.
But whenever I went out for the 9th grade basketball team, and that really did become like such a good group of people, and that's where I learned really truly about leadership, about the beauty in teamwork, and in positive thinking, and what that meant, and how you communicate with people.
Okay.
I could see another team, and if they started bickering with each other, I knew we won. Even if we were behind, I was like, oh yeah, we won.
We got this.
Yeah, because like we were such a, that was really important to our team, was just to be really like cohesive and encouraging.
And so you were the team captain in
Yeah.
high school. That's awesome. Your junior and senior year, just your senior year?
I stopped playing senior year.
Okay.
I kind of got into social life a little bit more and just failed.
No.
But all the way through, I can't remember in ninth grade, but I know for sure 10th and junior year.
Okay.
And that was really, really cool because I felt so seen and appreciated by the team in my leadership style because it was a vote.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was,
Yeah, that'll give you a lot of confidence.
It's so much
as a kid.
confidence. Yeah, and the way I led.
What was it about you that you think made them vote for you?
It was, I think, and my coach called this out one time, and he saw it, and I felt so seen then too. But I wasn't like the loud leader. I wasn't the one that's like, "Come on, guys, let's go." It was much more like quiet and alongside. And so if I saw something, I wouldn't like say it in front of everybody. It was much more of like a us conversation.
Okay.
And so I think that there was like a lot of trust building there. In that.
Yeah, has that translated into what you're doing now, leading your team at Barre3 and leading your business? Do you feel like that translates really well?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, and I value being part of a team so much, and I am the leader of the team, but I also feel like part of the team, and I feel like that's very important. Including sometimes people think other people at the studio are the owner, and I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So my manager, they're like, "Oh, so you own the studio?" And I just love that because it means they also feel.
Well, you want your people to take
onus.
ownership of
Yeah.
it. And when someone else thinks that someone else is the owner, that's a great feeling. You're like, you feel like you're doing your job. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. So then you went off to college and you went to a little town. What college was it? What was it?
Dahlonega. So it was the University of North Georgia.
Okay.
It used to be a military college. I have no part of, I'm not in the military, never was. But so by the time I went, it was half civilian, half military.
And what made you pick that school?
It was beautiful.
Okay, the campus?
Yes.
I saw a couple of pictures of the town. It looked really beautiful.
Yes.
So.
My senior year, my best friend and I drove up for a visit.
And it's north of Atlanta? Okay,
Yep,
cool.
it's about an hour north, so not far.
I spent a summer up there in the mountains north of Atlanta.
Like
it
Blue
was
Ridge.
hot.
Yeah.
But it was it was very beautiful.
Yeah.
Bigger mountains than you think. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of like our foothills.
Yeah, sure.
Sort of, but
that's a good way to
the
put
way
it.
I see it. But we turned the corner into the town and just mountains came up, and we're city
And you're like,
kids,
I'm
suburbs
sold.
kids. So I was like, we started screaming, and
Did y'all not go up there very often
No.
as kids? Oh, really?
it's so strange living in
You didn't
Atlanta.
go hiking
no,
in the mountain? Okay.
no, we went to Stone Mountain, which is like in Atlanta.
Okay.
But no, the mountains, people. In my sphere, at least, like we never went to the mountains, which
like
is
an
so
hour
silly.
away, right?
Yeah,
That's
here
crazy.
I think the difference is you can see them in Denver,
Okay.
and so it's kind of like let's go there because we see them, we're reminded
Yeah.
of them. But
It's also the Rockies, which is
It's
very epic.
epic, yeah,
Yeah.
literally. But I think the difference is you don't physically see them
Okay.
from Atlanta. I think you just forget they're there.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But you guys, it seemed like y'all were pretty active. You weren't outdoorsy. Your family wasn't.
We did a lot of. There's like
Just didn't go
Atlanta's
hiking.
kind of called the city in the forest, and so if you're flying into Atlanta, it's just surrounded by trees, and so there's trails, there's rivers,
Okay.
plenty of playtime.
Okay. Is your family still out there? You go
Everybody's
back-
out there.
You
Yeah.
go back pretty often.
Yes, pre-COVID, probably once a quarter.
Okay.
Post, honestly, a couple times a year.
Yeah. It's so hot.
Yeah.
In summer.
It
Yeah, My
is.
family's all in Texas. And
Okay.
I just can't go back like May through September.
Certain times
I
a
can't
year.
do it. I can't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't anymore.
We're
So,
spoiled out here. It's
Yeah.
just the best.
Yeah. It's been a really rainy year, but other than that, it's like here's amazing. So
Mm-hmm.
my family was just here in town and they're like, we're eating lunch or eating dinner on the back porch. And they're like, this is so nice that you can eat outside in the summer. I'm like, yeah, this is why I live here.
We get all four
Can't do it.
seasons. I always think it looks like a calendar. Like
Okay.
the way a calendar pictures are, it's what's happening
As
here.
you flip it, you're like, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're like, yep,
October,
it's fall now.
oranges, yeah, the leaves are changing. That's
Yep.
true. Awesome. And then so you said when you said that you got a degree in education and you figured out that wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Was that like your last semester when you were student teaching?
Yeah.
Was there like a moment where you're like, I'm not doing this?
Yeah, I was really unhappy my senior year. It just was not for me. The lead alongside you type leadership doesn't work for high schoolers as well. You have to like
You're
dominate.
student teaching like high school students?
Yeah, and so I was
you're
starting
like-
to get
you're like
nervous.
3 years older than
Yeah,
them?
I was like, are they gonna show up to like a rush party and I'm there? Like it started to get like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, these are little siblings of my friends. Like
Oh, yeah.
that's how it was, and it just didn't feel right. And not only that, I honestly don't command a room like that. I just can't keep those kids focused. So
they're hard.
I like literally floundered. So I have the most respect to this day for teachers. And I think they deserve every summer off. They need it. Like, I just think teachers are amazing. So
I agree, especially high school teachers. So high school students are tough. So
tough. Yeah.
Okay, and then so you pivoted to doing digital marketing.
Marketing, yep.
So tell me about that. How did you get into that?
To be honest, I think one of the best things I do is I'm a pretty good writer, fairly good communicator, and I'm good at socializing with people. And I feel like I understand people, or at least I try to. Yeah. And so marketing sort of just made sense to me. If I was able to take a business and understand what they're trying to do and how to present it to people, it just clicked. Yeah. And so one of my best friends got me an interview where she was working, even though I didn't have a marketing degree, I had an English degree. They were hiring, they were willing to teach.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I got in there and they taught me everything. And it was a young company, so I was able to really have access to the upper leadership and learn a lot from them as far as leadership goes.
Was that here in Denver?
It wasn't. It was in Gainesville, Georgia, which is also north of Atlanta, kind of between Atlanta and Dahlonega. So
okay. So you started off doing marketing, and then how did you get from Georgia to Denver?
I lived in Greenville, South Carolina for a little while. Opened a office with the company I was working for.
Okay.
And Barre3 came into town. And I found the workout and was addicted. I was like, this is a game changer, because I was a much more playing team sports. Like,
so you married at this point?
I was married, yeah.
Okay, so
we moved there.
And you've been married like 10 years?
Yes, we just hit 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good old Southern thing, getting married straight out of college.
Yep. Me and my wife, same exact thing.
We've grown up together in so many ways.
Same, Did y'all meet in college?
Uh-huh.
Okay. His name's Blake?
Yeah, Blake.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we met at 20 years old. And so
that's adorable.
Yeah, I'm 34 now, so we've done a lot of life together so far, which is pretty neat.
That's cool. And so did he move to Gainesville with you, or were you guys, when you opened that office there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We moved to Greenville together. That's like a month after we got married, we moved together. And it was, first year of marriage for us was not easy, just because it was so much at once. Yeah. And we were so young, just really trying to figure out like how that all worked, and getting into our his first out of college job. Yep. I'm in my first out of college job. It's like all that.
There's some things about that like first year or two of marriage that I miss. Being incredibly poor is not one of them.
So poor.
It's so poor.
I have a really funny story. We were so poor, we couldn't go anywhere. Yep. We were just at home, like having drinks, not going out, and we were so bored. And I think this was pre like Netflix and all that, and
this is Blockbuster days.
Yeah. And we found a lightning bug stuck in a spider's web, and I was like, we like saved the lightning bug. Like we got like a little like sewing needle and like saved the lightning bug, and I'll never forget it. And I was like, wow.
But the spider died of starvation.
The spider, we were in Greenville, South Carolina, I feel like got another lightning bug.
Yeah, it's fine. So it's like in some ways like I miss those times. We would do the Blockbuster thing where you like could go and rent like multiple movies for you're like a subscription model.
$7 7 days or something.
Yeah, exactly. And you just go get a bunch of movies and you bring them home, and then you just exchange them, and you paid a monthly fee or whatever.
Nice.
And we would just like watch so many movies because we just couldn't afford to go anywhere. So my wife tells a story about having a spreadsheet of our budget. And like every penny, and she had like gum. I bought like a pack of gum, and she like added that into the spreadsheet. Like gum, 75 cents. Like every single penny was accounted for. So. And
the feeling of a full refrigerator was so nice. I was like, we're okay.
The first of the month, you get to fill that fridge up. Like, we're gonna make it.
Yeah.
But I don't miss it. I wouldn't go back. It's like fun to think about and reminisce, and there's definitely
you're proud of it now.
The simplicity of life in those moments is something I yearn for, but the struggle is not something I miss. So. All right, so you're in Gainesville. Barre3 comes into your life. How does Barre3 come into your life?
As a client. And so one of my friends...
Did they like come into your office and hand a pamphlet? Your friend invited
so I
you?
actually found it, the bar workout from Pure Barre, which is a different bar brand. Okay. And they were the only ones in town at the time. And it was a true understanding of a different type of workout, and that it could be challenging. And I needed a challenge because I was so used to like the HIIT workouts and running, the sprints and all those things. And I just didn't believe it was going to be hard, and I wanted it to be hard. And so I found it there, and then I started researching. I was like, what is this barre situation, And I researched different barre methods and companies, and I found Barre3, which wasn't in town yet, but the vibe I loved. It was so like West Coasty, like you're barefoot and it's airy and natural light, and we work on a cork floor. A lot of barre brands are on carpet.
Okay.
And I didn't always love that, just kind of the feeling of it. But anyways, the cork floor, the light, and worked in a neutral spine and felt less like a ballet class. It is so far from a ballet class.
Okay.
It's much more functional strength. And so I resonated with it more. And I was telling all my friends about it. We were actually doing Barre3 online. And so it's just a on-demand workout. We would do it in our office, like after work, we'd pop it on. And then they opened in town, so I was already familiar with the brand.
Yeah.
And I wrote them. I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with Barre3, and I would love to audition to be an instructor. And so that's how it happened.
Okay.
And so I was a founding instructor for the Greenville studio.
Okay.
And I credit them so much in giving me my start in Barre3.
And who was the studio owner there?
Katie and Lizzie, and they are sisters. And they still have a studio there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they just took you in.
They did.
And helped you and let you teach.
Yep. And the first time I met Katie, she literally just threw her arms up for a hug. And she's like, hi, the first time I met her. Cute, yeah. And it just felt, I was like, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. And everything just kept reinforcing that it was the right place to be. And it truly
So
is.
that became kind of your community?
It did.
Yeah.
Big time, and my hobby. And so I would be like, working on my content and listening to my playlist for class, and like, kind of thinking through what moves I might want to do, and more I wanted to be there more. Oh, okay. And so when we moved out here to Denver, very important was we lived near our Barre3 studio. And at the time, the only studio was in Cherry Creek.
Okay.
And so I reached out and I was like, hey, we're moving to Denver. It was my husband's job. That's what got us out here. And I auditioned to teach for them. They just needed to see that I actually knew what I was doing.
Sure, yeah.
And
you feel like you nailed that audition?
I got it. I got the job, yeah. So, and then started teaching for the Cherry Creek studio.
Cool.
Yeah. So it was a nice transition, and it truly was a community. 2016.
Okay. And so then you did that, and then you opened yours in 2019. When did you feel like you knew you wanted to open your own studio?
I pretty quickly after starting at the Cherry Creek studio began managing full time.
Oh, okay.
And so I left my digital marketing job, which they were so sweet to let me come do it out here remotely. But then I was like,
and then you left.
Yeah. But so when the opportunity came,
doesn't it feel bad when someone does something so nice for you like that?
I was like, don't let it ruin for everybody else.
Yeah. And then you're like, thanks for letting me work remote. I'm actually gonna quit.
I did give like 3 months notice, so I feel like that was solid.
That's good. That's enough.
Yeah. But then I went full time and started managing, and the studio owner here, who's actually now my business partner, Julie Gordon, she owns Cherry Creek Studio and the Highlands Square Barre3 Studio.
Okay.
And I was managing for her, and she was so generous with me in really peeling back the curtain and letting me kind of act almost as a partner with her. And so together we were able to grow and really create a fantastic community and grow her community, which she'd already started. Yeah. And then we also, while I was her manager, opened a Highlands Square studio, so a second location. Okay. And truly, I loved it so much. I cared so much that I hit a cap. It wasn't mine, and it wasn't my studio. And so that ownership, I couldn't go any further in it. Yeah. And so it really was that I just needed my own. Yeah.
And then how did you settle on Highlands Ranch?
I was looking to...
Did you do a lot of research, market research?
Yeah, a ton. And that's one thing that's great about Barre3, the home office, it's a franchise. Mm-hmm. They were very supportive in helping us do that research. I'd say I think this place would be great. And then they would pull the demographics and, how many people live there and, that kind of thing to say whether or not they thought it was a feasible place. Because, some places are really cool, but no one lives there. They're good. Amazing restaurants, but no one lives there. And so they're like, this isn't going to work, Or
it's just not the right demographic.
Yeah.
There's enough people, but it's not the right type of people that come to Barre3.
Right. Yeah. And so we I was looking, and just wasn't falling in love with anywhere. And I always thought Highlands Ranch, I was like, man, that's the best location. It already existed. A gal named Brittany Palmer opened it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And
Okay.
she's from Texas and
Cool.
wanted to move back to Texas. And
Okay.
it was around the time I was struggling to find a good location for my studio to build. And she's like, hey, do you want to maybe buy one? And I was like, yes. And so it really just
And it
was
was just
perfect.
turnkey. She had
Yep.
it going. Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and
okay,
the team
cool.
was there, and the team was really ready for me.
Okay.
Brittany was ready to go, and I was coming in fresh.
Yeah.
And so it was the best situation I could have asked for as
That's
far as that
amazing.
is concerned. Yeah.
That's really cool. I love that. That's good. That just like what a happy coincidence.
It was so perfect. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, and then so you mentioned that customer experience, kindness, and inclusion were really important to you.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on those three things?
Would love to.
Okay, because customer service to me is also, I know in video production it may not seem like customer service is a big part of it, but like just making sure my clients are like happy with what we create, and that, because we don't actually have a lot of clients, like we don't have a ton of clients, but I have, all my clients are repeat clients, right? They
Yeah.
come, and then every year they have a marketing budget, and so it's like the marketing budget resets and they're calling, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
hey, and so like with customer service is huge to me. I want our systems, I want our communication to be really effective. I want to communicate with them, make sure they know where we're at in the process along the way. And so customer service in my industry, though it doesn't seem like it's something that is important,
Right.
it is very important to me as well. So I want to
Yes.
hear your take on that as far as like owning the studio. How do you do customer service?
Yeah, well, I think that's a really good point that you make. It's so important for people to know where they are in the process, especially in a service like that.
Yeah.
For us, customer service really comes down to making people feel welcome and, again, included, because, and boutique fitness can be very intimidating to people. You know, a lot of times we hear people wanting to get in shape before they come,
Yeah.
which is the opposite. We're here to help you hit your fitness goals.
Yeah.
And when someone walks in, they've already done a lot of research typically, and, you know, they might be nervous. And so the way I see it is kind of like you're hosting a dinner party, and and your person walking in doesn't know anyone at all.
I like that.
Yeah, and they might know the hostess, but they might not. And so the first person they meet is the front desk person, always with a smile, always with eye contact. And then we sit down with them and we learn about them just to...
Do people come into the studio before they ever work out? Like, do they come in for like an onboarding thing, or is it like, are they the first time they come is their first workout?
Typically, first time they come is their first workout.
Okay.
And we have a lot of touch points prior, you know, what to expect, what to wear, where to park, all those things. Again, the more information, the less nerves,
Okay.
you know.
And how do you have it? Is it just in text on your website?
Text, there's the website, but then also as soon as they create an account with us, they'll get a text message and an email from us.
Okay.
Just with what to expect, next steps.
Perfect.
And we check in the day before. We're like, hey, we're so excited to meet you. Do you have any questions?
Cool.
And go ahead and get any of those questions answered.
Nice.
And then when they do come in, we do have a form that we go through with them just to learn more about their goals, maybe what their barriers are, what...
You know, like any injuries?
Best time of day for them to work out,
Okay.
any questions they might have, their experience with Barre or Barre3, or what workouts they're currently doing. And so that way we get a better understanding of what they might need from us as far as accountability goes, or as far as questions go, modifications, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then we give them a tour around the studio, show them where literally everything is. Again, the more you know, the better you feel.
Yeah.
And the front desk person, then the hostess of the party. When you're at a party, worst feeling is only knowing one person, because especially to the hostess, because you don't want to like cling to them because
Right.
they're busy, right?
Yeah.
And so the next thing is to introduce them to someone else, which
Okay.
is their instructor.
Cool.
And so now they know two people, which is great.
Yeah.
And then the instructor shows them around the room, tells them more what to expect about the actual workout itself, shows them any modifications they might need. You know, we're doing this during class. Since you have a wrist thing, here's what I recommend.
That throughout the process of that first visit, can you like see the anxiety melting away from them? And then once the workout starts, I imagine they feel great. And it sounds like you have a great community. I imagine.
Yes.
Are you talking to your other members, maybe your members who have been there a long time, about being inviting and inclusive
Yes.
as well? Is that a conversation you have with like senior people on your team?
It's not something that I say like you have to do, because it's their time too, and
Sure.
so I'm not like, hey, can you guys please be nice to these people, because sometimes people don't want to talk to people, and that's fair.
Sure.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
So you just want to get in and get out.
But you got,
But you can get the vibe.
You got those members that
You
are
get the
like,
vibe, yes.
you're like, hey,
Yeah.
I know you'll help me out, make these people feel welcome.
And so what we like to do is introduce the new person to someone who comes a lot,
Okay.
and that we know is open to that, just the way they are. And so we'll set them up next to them at the bar.
Cool,
Say,
that's perfect.
hey, meet Jen. She's been coming for a long time. She's a great one to watch during class.
Cool.
And then that way they can kind of start talking. Now they know a third person.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys have really put a lot of thought into that.
We have. Yeah.
Well, that's a huge hurdle for people, right? And if you go to a workout class the first time and no one talks to you
Mm-hmm.
and no one encourages you and you're not sure about the moves and you don't know if you're doing things right, like I could see like not coming back.
100%, yeah.
And you said that that you guys are actually growing, and then attendance is up a lot.
Yes,
Like-
except for summer. Summer is always a slow time, especially
sense. Everyone's traveling.
especially this year. It's been wild, but even still, we're still up year over year. But yes, we've been growing exponentially year over year.
What do you attribute to that mostly?
The class, the experience.
Okay.
If we can get people in, they're going to love it.
Okay.
Typically, especially if they know what to expect.
Yeah.
And so that for sure. I think our follow-up process too, we have been really focused on. So checking in with someone the next day, making sure that they have all the information they need. How do they feel? Do they know how to book their next class? Things like that. And so just helping them get in again.
Yeah.
And them knowing their options, how often they should come to hit whatever goals they are looking to hit. Or
How does membership work then
Mm-hmm.
with you guys? Can they come unlimited times, or is it a certain amount of times per week?
both. So
Okay.
we have an unlimited, which we price to be affordable. We don't ever want to become like unreachable.
Sure.
Because that's honestly like with inflation, and a lot of places are just like, going.
Yeah.
And so we work very hard to keep it at a manageable
though.
place. It is hard. And it is the best option if you're going to be coming even 6 times a month.
Okay.
But outside of that, you can do packages. So if you're going to pop in, so say somebody's main thing, they come to us, they're like, I cycle every day. That's my main thing. I want to come here twice a month.
Okay.
Then we're not going to sell them an unlimited membership.
Yeah.
We're going to give them the option that's best for them.
Cool.
And so we have packages. We also have once.
So like a punch card type situation? Okay.
Yeah. And then we have like a 4 times a month option for people who are just sprinkling it in, or maybe just kind of trying to make sure they like it before
Yeah.
they go unlimited. Yeah.
Cool. And if you're traveling, if you're a member at Barre3 and you're
Mm-hmm.
traveling and there's somewhere else that has a Barre3, can you pop into those for like visits?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it's an unspoken thing, but we all do it. So,
Okay. You're just like, hey, I'm a member at this place. And
and we're
cool,
going to
join
give
us
them
for this workout.
Yeah,
Come on.
totally, 100%. And no one, to my knowledge, has ever been turned down, and that's how we do it. And the owner network at Barre3 is extremely tight,
Okay.
and very supportive of each other.
Okay.
And so that's another huge win as far as I'm concerned. It's great resource.
Yeah.
A lot of smart, hardworking women that I can just tap for, ideas or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
we always take care of each other's people.
And you've mentioned women a few times.
Yes.
What's the demographic of your typical class?
I would say mostly women,
Yeah.
some men,
Okay.
and it's really, really good for men. As long as
Why?
it's functional strength. It's it's those things, strengthening glutes, strengthening core, flexibility, all of those things.
Flexibility is a thing that I have noticed. I'm almost 40. That's the thing I've noticed is like going really fast.
Yeah.
You just like my flexibility. I just can't bend certain ways anymore,
Yeah.
and things are hurting. So
Yeah, mobility is
That's
big
good.
with
I gotta-
Barre3, and so men who do Barre3 have always said that it helps them, and women too, ski better, snowboard better, bike better, pickleball better,
basketball.
better, all those things, because they are able to do it more safely.
It's that range of motion. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? I feel like the range of motion is going, and
Yeah.
that's when I feel like injuries happen.
Totally.
So-
Yeah. But if you can get your glutes to fire, your back won't fire. And so if your glutes are protecting you, your abs are protecting you, your low back won't say like, I got this. oh, no, I don't.
No, I don't.
And then, yeah,
I'm done today, guys.
Yeah,
I'm done.
yeah. So it's really important. And so we do have a few guy members.
Mm-hmm.
They usually come in first, like with their significant other or their wife.
Sure.
And they're like, actually, this is awesome. And then slowly come on their own.
You win them over.
Yeah.
Over time. Especially once they start to see the results.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And as long as they're comfortable and they come in knowing that they're probably going to be the only guy in the room, then they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other services that you guys offer? You guys doing one-on-ones with people or nutrition or anything like that?
I do a couple of private classes.
Okay.
I have a client or two that we do regular private classes and open to that. We do offer childcare, which is a game changer.
Well, that goes back to the inclusion
Yes.
of being inclusive for moms, because
Yeah.
what are stay-at-home or just moms with kids, like my wife is mid-30s and with 3 young kids, and it's hard to find time to work out, especially if no childcare,
Right.
So,
Yeah.
tell me about the childcare. How do you guys do that?
Yeah, it's by session, and so we give our members, just FYI, our members have like ridiculous amount of perks, just perks. And
perks.
yeah, and one of those is a big discount on Play Lounge, and
Okay.
so they can buy a package and get it down to like $4 a session.
What is Play Lounge?
It's a little area right in the lobby. It's got
Okay.
a pony wall, and the kiddos go in there, and we have a person, a Play Lounge
Cool.
associate who's in there who actually loves kids, and that's a job requirement.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put someone in there who's willing to do it.
Sure.
I'm going to put someone in there who's like, I love babies,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so they're very engaged the whole time. They don't watch TV, and they get to play with other kiddos,
Okay.
and yeah, it's just during class.
Well, that's great for the kids too, because it mix it up,
Yeah.
for just even if it's just an hour a day, like getting out of the house,
Yeah.
and especially in the summer when you're out for school. It's like my daughter sometimes will be home, the whole day, and it's just like I feel bad because my wife and I are working and we're in and out, and we play with her a little bit here and there, but
Yeah,
just
go
to
get
mix
your
it
workout
up.
and bring her, and then she
Yeah.
gets to hang out with other people, other adults even,
Okay.
which is nice. And it is very engaging and safe. And a lot of times kids will grow up there. We get them as babies, and then they go all the way up through, and
That's cute.
it's really special. And I love having kids in the studio.
Cool. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the future for Barre3 Highlands Ranch?
The future, continued growth. It really is a different game than pre-COVID now. And I think that it's always trying to question the assumptions that we had prior based on like what class times work best, what digital offerings are still being utilized. We do live stream classes. We have tons of on-demand classes, which are incredible.
Okay.
So just kind of figuring out like what our clients need and continuing to grow that way. I am somewhat a creature of habit. And so that's somewhere I'm really pushing myself, is really looking at what is working for our people now versus what used to work.
Right, and not just what works for you.
Yeah. And so
'Cause if you get stagnant, that's when I feel like
the death rattle.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah. So just keeping growing. I want to continue to elevate our team. I would love to see, one day multiple full-time team members and maybe a second studio or a second venture. But I think just growth and just busting at the seams with a great community. That's all I want.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you feel like people need to know about you and Barre3 before we wrap up?
I think just don't be afraid to try something new.
Okay.
Don't feel like you have to get ready to go somewhere. And I think that a lot of times everybody else comes first, especially, I think, not only, but especially as women.
Oh, for sure.
We often put other people first and everybody's needs above ours, so much so that many times women become depleted. And I think that if we can flip that and remember that it's important to take care of ourselves, fill our cups, then we're going to be able to show up better for everyone else and longer. I mean, this stuff literally adds years to life, and mobility to life and good years.
Yeah.
And so don't put it off. Just start going.
You hear that, moms?
Yeah.
Give your future self a gift today. Go to Barre3.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, good. This was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come talk about Barre3 and my team and my community. It means the world.
Cool. Well, keep doing amazing things in this community, and we'll have you back.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.